Welcome to the All Surface Show. Wow, first show in ages, and I did not do the YouTube hook, Steve. I'm rusty. I'm coming out like the Knicks. Now I'm like dating this show. We're talking about the 2026 Roland Garros, so it's already dated. So I think it's okay. I am David EJ Berger. We're going to talk some tennis today. I'm tossing it to my main man in Melbourne, Steve. Where are you at with the draws, and how are you doing?
I am doing good. Life has been busy to start this year. It's been a bit of a whirlwind, but no, life is good. Life is probably better than the draw for the men's Roland Garros, at least for the handful of players who find themselves on positions 2 through about 32 in the draw. It's been a while, I think, since we've had a draw like this where, for so many it's been, it doesn't really matter which side you're on. You're either on Yannick's side or you're on Carlos's side. Like there's no one really has a ideal, really. It's you're going to be on one side or the other. It's just about how far away can you stay in their half. Whereas now, this is kind of everyone wants to be in spots 65 through 128 in the draw and as far away from a certain Italian as they can.
Yeah, I think you can look at it a couple ways. I think you can be bummed out that it's basically the Yannick Sinner Invitational for the men's side. Obviously, the women's side, a lot of potential champions. I mean, it's Sinners to lose, and you could be bummed out about it. You can have that kind of stinks that there's not at least like Carlos to threaten him. On the flip side, I feel like you can enjoy it. I mean, this will be history. It'll be a campaign on top of campaign that Yannick has stacked up since the Sunshine Double. So, yeah, I think people should enjoy the ride. Obviously, everyone's going to enjoy the event in North America or in America being on TNT. Because the presentation, even for the qualies, is skyrocketed up. So, I think also here in America, it's Memorial Day weekend. I say let the naysayers wane away and let's buckle up for a fun run for Yannick Sinner to bring home another Grand Slam, barring injury or illness.
Well, that was going to be my question. There's 127 other players in the field, but is Yannick's own body his biggest threat?
Yes, and germs and the sun.
No, it is.
Those are his biggest opponents.
It is really, and I think when we look through the draw and how it has kind of panned out, he's so far away ahead of everyone else. And when you say that everyone else, you're talking largely about all the other seeded players that, the first couple of rounds, really, unless there's a real unseeded floater, it's going to be, I don't know if the fans are going to get major money's worth in terms of their tickets for some of the early matches there, but maybe Baby Dolo in round 2 might be able to put up a little bit of a fight there, but it's it certainly shapes as a draw that there's a couple of players there. So looking down, so Ben Shelton's at the bottom of the quarter there. I mean,
no chance.
Be on some other surfaces. If you can't get near him on hard court, I have queries about him being able to do it on the clay.
I mean, I'm not joking, Steve. I think he will win round 1. I don't think that's a walkover. And Marita, who's had a fabulous clay season.
Yeah, I think there's a potential there. It's it's just about, I guess the one thing with Ben is at least he does bring that kind of top level at Grand Slams. I think we saw coming into the Oz Open, he lost to Baez, I think it was in Auckland, and didn't look near his best, but then, found a better level, lost to Sinner there. But, you work your way through there. There's probably the two seeds sitting in the middle there that have the highest ceiling in terms of their potential in Luciano Darderi and Alexander Bublik. But yeah, it's hard to be confidently saying that anyone, over best of 5, who's taking a set off Sinner, let alone having the conversation about who's beating Sinner over a best of 5 match.
They really have not taken many sets from him on his current run. So
nope.
I think a splash name could be Ralph Collion. We were talking about him before we hit record. He, I would definitely put in the informed bucket coming into this event. I think he's got a really nice round 1 draw versus Alex Vukic, the Australian, who, is not, I don't know. He actually wins matches on clay. Is what I'll say about him. You can quantify that how you will, but that's a walkover for Collion in round 1. And then a potential banger, Collion Shelton in round 2. Man, not to bring betting into this, but I think I would heavily be looking at a price on Collion in that matchup. I think this is a real opportunity. We've seen repeatedly at these 1,000 events leading up to the next slam, fresh faces go far. We've had Blocks. We've had Landaluthe, right? This would be a great time for Blocks countryman Collion to break through. And I think he has the game and the skill set to do so, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think when you look at that section of the draw, gee, you would have, you'd say that's almost the back end of a, 500 tournament or a 1,000 tournament a couple of years ago. You've got right in the bottom half of the first quarter, you've got Bublik, Shapovalov, Hubie Hurkacz, Tiafoe, Griekspoor, Arnaldi, Tsitsipas, and Ben Shelton all in a little pocket. Who, yeah, look, you could say that they're probably not beating or getting close to Sinner, but there's a potential for some really interesting matches, I think, through there.
Definitely.
If they can bring a level near their best. So I think it's going to be entertaining, but yeah, it's going to be tough. It's tough to I think, confidently pick anyone out of that to say who's going to be, handed to Jannik Sinner on a platter in a quarterfinal.
Dream round 1 matchup for Tsitsipas with Alex Muller, who is trending down, Steve. This guy's the out of form bucket all the way. Coming into, go ahead.
Yeah, since he really lent into OnlyFans, his tennis has kind of dropped off a bit.
Yeah,
I think when you were watching him last year in particular, you knew that there was that effort, and it was almost going to be that the other player really had to beat him. He wasn't going to hand anything away, but everything's gone a little bit wayward this year. So look, I hope for his sake he can kind of turn things around, and we can see a pretty good level. I think last year, he can match it, and you would have looked and gone, oh, he's a tough opponent for anyone. But yeah, at the moment, it's hard to make a strong case based on what we've seen recently.
Yeah, lost to Wu Yibing on clay, not great. Ray Sakamoto, who I'm leaving the light on to develop, some clay prowess, but really does not have the results for Muller to be losing to him at this point. Yeah. So if you're Tsitsipas, you're liking this draw. For everyone that would love to fade him, I think he gets through round 1.
And I think if you're a player that is confident or feeling good about your game, you're probably feeling pretty good about in the second quarter, I think, as we move our way down a little bit, because I feel like there's a bit of opportunity there when you think about the names that are in here compared to who we're seeing in that top quarter. Felix Auger-Aliassime and Daniil Medvedev at the bookends.
Very vulnerable top seeds.
Yep. And I think that with that comes, opportunity. I think, Daniel Altmaier, probably lucky not to get, a default playing against Tommy Paul, kicking his racket into the crowd, but not the type of matchup I think Felix would like to be seeing in round one. I think here, looking at the draw and looking at the rest of the players really in this section.
Can I talk dream qualifier placement for Valentin Vachereau? Give him Michael Zhang. Just give him Michael Zhang.
Zhang's just decided that Grand Slams are the only kind of ATP level.
I want to see Double V shove this kid into a locker.
Not a fan?
It's not that I'm not a fan. In fact, you would think this would come from some bitterness of betting against him. I only did so in round one. I thought he had a great week of qualifying, Zhang. And I thought he had a really good chance today versus Jesper de Jong, who is maybe the worst service game in the top 125. He is out of form, Jesper de Jong, even for being in a final of qualifying today. Exciting opportunity here for Kouame, the young Frenchman, against Marin Cilic. That is a must-watch.
Yep, definitely. And I think the play here that probably stands out in terms of, it's a funny one because you look at him and you look at, you sit there and you go, yeah, he could easily make a semi-final. You could also say he could easily lose in round one. It's Flavio Cobolli.
Oh,
I think you look at smack bang in the middle there. That is a pretty generous start for him. And I do say this in the knowledge that the last time I thought this, he got knocked out round one of the Oz Open with an upset stomach. So, I need to temper expectations a little bit for him. If he brings his best level, he is a genuine chance of making a pretty solid run here, I think.
I got to say, if you are Cobolli, there are, and you can say this for anyone any year, but I'm just saying, I feel like these qualifiers, we still have one day to go while we record, but there's some true, there's a true top tier and there's a bottom tier. And this is weird to say, but I would not want to draw Roman Sufilian if I'm Flavio Cobolli. I think that is so wild to say even like a month ago, but Roman is on such a heater, and I just really like his aggressive style here against Cobolli, who can really fight for holds. I mean, he has to construct holds a lot of times, and I think he probably wins that, in the end because of the best of 5 format. But man, that would be a tough draw for him. So I don't think he, if you get a qualifier lucky loser, I think it's supposed to be beneficial for you. But I don't know for Flavio Cobolli.
The other player I think is Cerundolo. I think there is opportunity here for him to make a very, very solid run. Yes, he has Van de Zandschulp first up, and that's going to be a tricky matchup, I think, compared to a lot of the other first rounds or potential opponents he could have faced. But I think he'd stand up pretty well against all of those. I don't think I don't think Medvedev's going to scare him on clay. And he's probably the type of style that can really frustrate a Cobolli in a, what would that be, around the 4th round. I think Cerundolo is the other one to be keeping an eye on here. Not so much the brother who's a little too close to Sinner as a potential second round, but I think he's a genuine one to watch.
Yeah, Dolo though comes in with the complete opposite hype of last year, right? I mean,
yeah,
I would not put him in the in-form bucket. He's in the out-of-form bucket. And great round one matchup, although, Bodek is an all-surface player. I think there's a clear talent edge. So you're liking that if you're Cerundolo. And then you get, I mean, Gaston. John talked about it today on the betting show. Gaston at times feels like he doesn't want to play anymore. And Gael Monfils is not playing anymore.
Yep.
So
what a wonderful combination.
And then you got Daniil Medvedev, who's never been a real threat at this event, despite taking down Rome one time. Yeah, I would say a lot of people are talking. I saw one American journalist mention the pathway for Leonard Tien, and it's just so crazy that Garin is so bad now. But I still wonder. I mean, if he finds a level, he should beat Leonard Tien. I mean,
yeah.
But he won't. He won't because he's not good now. But he has. Like this was 5 years ago. This would be a very nice matchup for Garin.
Absolutely. I think. Look, he'd be hoping that Lerner, wins through to the Geneva final. Is stuck in Geneva until Saturday. And then have the relatively quick turnaround and try and get the jump on him. But I feel like that is one of those old guard matches of they're trying to put up this resistance to the younger group coming through. So it'd be interesting to see if he can hold his own there. Yeah, it's we've seen some promising results from Lerner, I think, this week in Geneva in particular, but I'm not going to go out and say he's going to be backing up his Oz Open quarterfinal with a Roland Garros quarterfinal.
Also, they put the last rides, a couple of last rides in this quarter with Roberto Bautista Agut in here as well. Likely going out round one to Brandon Nakashima. Although I think he's pretty live in that match. I think that's a winnable match for sure, but he's been pretty bad. So
yeah,
we shall see. Would it be? This is actually let's live in 2026, Steve. Is Donnie Vallejo beating Cam Norrie an upset in 2026?
Oh, probably not.
I don't think so.
Feels like a little bit of a coin flip. I'd say maybe you'd probably say maybe the best of five gives Norrie a bit more of an advantage.
Well, you would think
experience and being able to kind of navigate the waters that come with the roller coaster that is best of five set tennis. I think that's all he's got going for him on what we've seen from him recently. I think he took a medical time out in Geneva against Navone, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to be heavily team Norrie this week. I think there's maybe a bit more hope for him when the surface under his feet changes to a nice shade of green.
You know who famously upended Jannik Sinner at Roland Garros once, and that is Daniel Altmaier out of nowhere. Good opportunity for him versus FAA. You like that if you're Altmaier with the hardcore FAA? Go ahead.
Yeah, and it becomes that opportunity of if you're against a top seed who's not exactly thriving, then you take a round one win and all of a sudden you're sitting in the number 4 seeds spot. You're not facing another seed until round 3, and you're avoiding some other pretty big names. So I think it's a massive opportunity for Altmaier to be able to kind of find some sort of level.
Man, this is this is open. Like, there's a lot of opportunity in this section for someone to make the 4th round of Roland Garros.
Yeah,
like
even to say a semi, like that's
not you're
that's
right.
The end of the road is the semi being Sinner.
No, but that's the other side of Sinner being top of the tier is before that is kind of wide open. I mean, FAA on slow clay, no. Baez seems like he has something wrong with him or just can't be good anymore. Roman Burruchaga, this is his first real year doing it on the main tour, but he has been doing it. I think he has improved his service game. I think that he's a wild card for sure. I don't really trust him. Van Ash, I think, is a toss. Gibson, I think, is a toss. Honestly, Vallejo, I don't think is a toss. It depends on how healthy he is, but if Valentin Vachereau is actually like who he claims to be, I would put him at the top here of the guys to make it through here. I like his game, hitting through these slow courts, and no one is that good.
And we'll have to do a live reaction when Michael Zhang knocks him out in round 1.
Please let that happen. Or let that matchup happen. I actually think that'll be a really great match.
But so there's pockets in that section. There's a couple of names, but if we move down to the third quarter, that's where things start to kind of ramp up again. There's some genuinely interesting first and second round matches when you look at this. You've got Demonor versus Blocks as a potential round 2. You've got winner of that probably facing Menchik in round 3. You've got Andrei Rublev versus Puse in round 1.
Yeah, I feel like Rublev keeps drawing like the buzzy youngsters. Like, he got Fonseca at the Australian Open. Buse's having a breakout year. And he's got to draw Rublev. I don't know. It's a tough opening round match for Andrei Rublev.
Yeah, he has looked a little better the last couple of months, Andre. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes here. Casper Ruud is obviously the one who you probably think is. Would you go as far as to say he's the form player outside of Jannik Sinner?
I think you have to at this point. Yeah. I mean, we don't know what's going on with Feast. I mean, Feast would be it had he not gone away because of potential injury. And also, is skipping media, so
yeah,
big question mark for him. So yeah, I think by default, Casper. Well, it's Hodar is the answer actually, but we'll get to him.
We'll get to him. Yeah. I can give you the tip that I'm probably not going to sit through much of Novak Djokovic against Giovanni and Pechi Pericard.
No. Must see TV.
I don't know when that's scheduled for, but I'm pretty sure I'm busy.
I don't think that's a walkover for Djokovic.
And I think I'd maybe tune in if someone sent me a message saying that, Pechi Pericard took a first set tie break or something kind of, there's a little bit of resistance there. But yeah. Sorry to skip to the bottom there, but yeah, there's obviously a few interesting names there. We haven't talked about Kecmanovic Mojan, which is also an interesting first round. That screams 4.5 hours to me.
Yeah, Kecmanovic up 3-1 or 2-1 before losing 2-3.
When has he done that recently?
I don't know.
Martin Etcheverry.
Not a memorable match for you and me.
Yeah.
I was thinking it would be great to see Medvedev have a good run through this section. Hoffman, I think, is a very winnable match.
Mm-hmm. Yes and no.
Then it's Ruud though, so it's like, really.
And I just think he's made some gains to start the year, but he's still probably. Well, I don't know. Don't want to speak for anyone else. I still have question marks about his best of 5 sets ability. And I look at that and go, if Hanfman can kind of extend out, if we see it deep in a 4th set or in a 5th set, that probably heads towards the German a little bit more. But Jedovic's level is so good that he can knock people off pretty quickly. So it's probably not the draw he's after, seeing someone like Casper Ruud as a potential round 2, but probably one of the ones I'm more interested to see what the outcome is in terms of his level, and just obviously someone who's very, very interesting to watch.
I think if you're Alex Blocks, you're coming in with a lot of confidence, and you are licking your chops at this draw for you. I mean,
Michael Jang and round one.
I think you would love to play Michael Chang in round one if you're Alex Blocks. Yes. That would be a locker stuffing.
I think that it'll be an interesting that if it's Demon or Blocks again. I think it was at Monte Carlo we saw those two face
that's
off.
what I'm saying. Like you were right there. Like it was a close match, and I think you're coming in even more confident.
Yeah, I mean, being able to match it with Demonor in a lead up. I think Demonor has looked maybe a little bit better this week in Hamburg. It's like we've kind of been waiting for it a little bit, just because he has been,
well, he was due for good results, but I don't think he's been playing particularly well.
Yeah, but yeah, there's certainly some potential there. But yeah, there's a couple of probably more. I'm more interested in the first round or two in this particular chunk of the draw than the other quarters. But if you had to pick someone here, who are you saying goes through?
I definitely think it's Rude.
Yeah,
but that's just by default, though. I don't think that Rude is. It's not like Sinner walking to the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Rude can definitely be beaten. But
now I did say
who's going to step up and do it, though?
Yeah, I did say I wasn't going to be watching Mpechi Pericard against Novak, but Fonseca and Prismic face off in round two. I'm going to be sitting down and watching that almost from start to end.
There's a lot of young bucks in this one, huh? Blocks, Prismic, Medjedovic. This is the Buse. Wow, this is the young guns quarter.
Jensen Brooksby.
Benchik. Oh, by the way, how many games does Brooksby win versus Navoni? And I'm not joking. Do you think he wins 4 games?
I think he'll be up against it. I think Jensen's best chance is if Navoni loses his passport in Geneva and can't get to France somehow. He has to catch a train.
That is not a great matchup.
Nope. And maybe there's some more opportunity here at the bottom with Taylor Fritz at the top of the quarter.
Well, Taylor Fritz, not an encouraging start in Geneva. But he gets a nice round one versus Boston Freddy. That's a walkover for Fritz. So you're gonna get some form. That's good. I mean, I've never believed in Kleyler, but at least you're gonna you have a very nice draw. I mean, you get Boston Freddy and then the winner of Shevchenko Mickelson. Who's down the line? Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're going to let's see it, dude. Let's just see Hodar. He's the best player in this. I mean, maybe you could make a case for Leheshka.
My only question mark with Rafa, the new Rafa, is his physicality and the way his body holds up reminds me of Jack Draper a couple of years ago. Like it's his best is knocking off everyone, but also he could easily cramp that. I mean, he cramped. Did he cramp against? Was it Sakamoto? The Australian Open. I haven't made that up, have I? They face off at each. Do they play each other in the first? It was like a 5-setter. They were both cramping.
Hodar.
Yeah,
they did. I don't. I mean, I know they both looked like two juniors playing. That's what I remember.
Yeah, but Kova has put together a pretty solid week.
I know. I'm looking
at the surprise of absolutely everybody.
I think they said he won 4 matches on clay before this week.
But if he turns it physical, you never know.
No, he is going to get eaten alive by Hodar. I mean, it's not even a contest. I'm trying to see what the odds are because I actually am curious. What does the market think? Because I know what I think.
I'm pretty sure it was fairly one-sided when I had a look before.
Okay, 7.5.
Um,
All right. That is okay. Yes, that is. We're on the same page, bookmakers.
Yeah, it's
I think that's a little too disrespectful to Kova. I mean, I think I'll have like a chance to get 4 games in a couple sets, but I think he will lose in straight sets.
Yeah. Now, it has been a while since we filmed, but unfortunately, Alejandro Fokina has not yet won a title.
Oh man, and he's
But
not. Honestly, he's not
it's a
going
new
to.
opportunity.
No,
Title watch is back on. It's on until it's not. It's on until it's not.
That was maybe one of the worst matches I've ever seen from someone on the ATP tour. His match versus Demon this week. I'm not even. It's no hyperbole. I don't even understand what was going on out there. 63 unforced errors, Steve.
Yeah, it's not ideal. I wouldn't say that's the form that you're just, really leaning in before you come into one of the biggest tournaments of the year.
He is not in the in-form bucket. He is in the out-of-form bucket.
But there's not much in form in that little portion of the draw.
Definitely not. Wow.
I would actually like to see him play Rafa Hadar.
If you're James Duckworth or Gabriel Diallo, like you're both loving this draw. Winnable match for both players there.
But yeah, I think when you look at this, I don't think I've probably been someone who's lent into Alexander Zverev at Grand Slams a little bit more than most, just because yes, he can push for a bit. Yes, he's not, the most exciting player, but he'll kind of give you that consistent level. But I don't think he has had that kind of, haven't had that same feeling with him over the best of 3 in the leader. I don't think it's the same. And I was actually talking to a mate the other day. Oh, it was when he was 5-love down to Gaston. I said, this is the type of performance that we get from Karen Khachanov, and then he'll come out and make the semi-finals of Roland Garros. And then you look at this kind of draw and you go, well, like, it's not without being possible. Like, it's not the worst draw for him.
No, not at all. I'm a little concerned too about the potential for Feast being a roadblock for anybody. One, I don't love the cancellation of the media appearance. So, 2, I don't love that he hasn't been on tour. And he is a guy that kind of needs a little ramp up. And 3, he was ramped up, Steve. Like, this feels like a very much a cooling off here for a player I, in general, believe in. But, I mean, Zverev is pretty much the same player always. Kudos to him for that. Sometimes, his forehand goes more haywire than it usually does, but we know that about him. So it's like, even when he plays bad, we just kind of know that about him. So I think most of the time he plays pretty well, and that beats most guys on this tour. He was routinely deep at every big event leading up to this, and I see no reason why he should not probably win this quarter, quite frankly.
Don't know. Adrian Manarino is there.
Oh, man.
Just going back to Zverev for a second too, Bonzi is not the type of round 1 match you want in France, I would have thought. And Mahach, probably round 2, is also not exactly what you're after in terms of if you haven't been thriving on the surface in the lead up. They're not names you generally want to be seeing earlier compared to a lot of the other names that we're seeing, make this draw.
Ugo Humbert down the line. I mean, this is like quite a path here for Khachanov or for Zverev. Khachanov, when is he going to lose? Let's look at his path here.
Well, that's the thing. It depends on Feast, really.
Yeah. Oh, Opelka will be fun on the TNT broadcast. Last year, he drew Navoni, and I remember him talking to Isner, and Isner was like, they were talking about that match, and Opelka basically alluded to the fact he was not going to win. So it's just going to be a better vibe with TNT. I'm excited, Steve. Your countryman Kokonakis. By the way, I was really annoyed that he pulled out of the event that he played in the leading up to this because I was pretty sure I was going to cash a plus 500 against him with the young 17-year-old prospect who went on to nearly win 2 matches that day or the day after versus better players. So,
it's nice to see Kokonakis out there again. It's hard to have any confidence, I think, in anything, but hopefully for his sake, he can get some sort of clean run at it in some way, shape, or form.
Not a great first round draw. But he is temperamental, so maybe Atman just beats himself. That is true, though. You know, he is playing a guy who can beat himself.
Remember, he did beat Seb Korda with half a functioning shoulder, didn't he?
Oh, I remember, yes.
Just a week before the Echeverry Kecmanovic game we were talking about before. All right, so let's just skip past the fact that Yannick Sinner will probably win it unless something out of the ordinary happens. So I have Cerundolo and Kachanov as the 2 kind of random floaters that aren't maybe your household names as making a bit of a deeper run. Where are you lying there?
I want to see Ralph Collion break through. I think he's got a very nice setup. And I think he would if he beats Ben Shelton. I think it's a very winnable match for Ralph Collion, and I think his name will be in the bright lights if he does so. And also, I don't think that's a walkover for Shelton versus Merida, and maybe Shelton's not even there. So I definitely like Collion versus Merida. So I think good opportunity for Ralph to make the 3rd round. And then he will play. Look at this bucket. Tsitsipas, Muller, Arnaldi, Griekspoor. I mean, give me a break. He could definitely make the 4th round. So that's a name I definitely am. I think it's okay to put some expectations on him at this point.
Yep.
So let's see. And then also, I got to say, I want to see. I think Blocks could go full pumpkin and lose early. But I think he has an exciting path. Also, Jakub Menchik, you know, I don't think that he's the best on clay, but I think he's an all-surface player. Well, maybe not grass so much, but great opportunity for Menchik.
I think that's what these draws now show. There's opportunity, particularly for this bottom half. Someone here is a finalist. And yes, it's probably going to be against Sinner, but it's still a pretty good achievement to say that you've made a Grand Slam final. Like, you look at the names there, there's a lot of people who haven't. I mean, there's also Novak Djokovic, but there's a lot of people who haven't.
Man, I really believe in Hodar. And he has, I mean, look at the names in his section. It's almost rigged. Kovacevic, Diallo, Duckworth, Mickelson, Shevchenko, Basavretti, Fritz. Give me a break, man. Like, yeah. That kid is making the 3rd round. And then he will play Lehashka. Okay, all right.
Hesitating at the start of the draw, when we started talking about it, I feel more intrigued by the fortnight ahead now, having gone through that.
I agree. I think there are. Do you want to talk popcorn first rounders?
Yeah, we can quickly head through a couple.
Let me see. Well, I think the Menchik Drew Gay is a lot of heavy hitting there. So I know that a very service game oriented match is not what people want on clay, but I think that one should have some fireworks from a firepower standpoint.
Fuse versus Rublev is obviously another one in terms of the fireworks and big hitting. I think for the rusted on tennis lovers, Kecmanovic Marijan's probably going to be something that's a bit more interesting. For those who like old guard, Garin versus Lenatien, I think has that potential there. For the nostalgia hit, Gael Monfils versus Gaston in Gael's last Roland Garros. Altmaier, Audrey Aliassime for the potential. I think again, Altmaier has become somewhat of a, I don't want to say he's a giant killer, but he's afraid of the occasion. And I think, look, ultimately, if you were to rank them all, I'd probably say most of them are pretty interesting, except for Mpechi Pericard against Novak.
That's fair, Steve. That's fair. We should probably wrap it up, but we're short shifting the women. But any overall thoughts on that draw, Steve?
Yeah, I'll try and put some maybe a reel or two together, looking at the women's if I get an opportunity between now and the start. But we'll be touching on it across the course of the tournament as well. But I think, you go back 5 years and you thought maybe, with Ash Barty kind of stepping away from the game, there was a question mark was who was going to step up, I think, on the women's side. And now we've got a handful of players. I think it is incredibly wide open. A couple of weeks ago, I thought, maybe a Marta Kostyuk or someone might be able to make a bit of a deeper run. But yeah, there's some real potential, I think, in the draw with Mira Andreeva and Elena Rybakina in the same quarter down the bottom. If you can find your way through, particularly the second quarter, which has Coco Gauff and Amanda Anisimova. Anisimova hasn't probably looked at her best, but there's some potential, I think, in that section of the draw for someone to make a big run. If you had to pick someone, you'd probably say Sabalenka, just off trust and that ability to kind of work her way through. But Buzas Pinheiro is a pretty tough first round matchup, I think, for her there. But things should be relatively okay. Naomi Osaka, probably the worst way home in a quarterfinal. Fourth round. Pegula in a quarterfinal. Coco Gauff in a semifinal. So I think on what we've seen from her, she's probably on her way to at least another Grand Slam final. But I think that's the great thing with the women's game is there's so much more variety and question marks.
For the women's side, though, I feel this draw brings a lot less question marks.
Yeah.
A very manageable path for Sabalenka.
There is for Sabalenka. I think some of the others, I think Iga Swiatek has potentially Yelena Ostapenko in the third round. That's probably one to keep an eye on as a late first week. But yeah, working your way through, there's it's.
I mean,
this
quarter headlined by Gauff and Anisimova. I mean, I know that they've kind of established themselves in that top tier, but I would not be shocked with either of them losing.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with, I'd say third round onwards, I think this is going to be a really fascinating Grand Slam for the women's. It's going to be see who avoids the obstacles of round 1 and 2 where they should be winning comfortably. And then when the whips get cracking, it's going to be a really, really interesting, I think, 8 to 10 days of this tournament.
Ooh, Akasha Arobo drawing Katie Bolter. I think both players enjoy that draw, that matchup. Not to play a true clay quarter on either side. I saw Arobo out here.
That's right, you did too. It'll be interesting to see how she fares there. Katie Bolter hasn't normally been one who's a massive fan of all things clay, but has shown some more solid performances recently. But look, I think it shapes up as a really, really interesting fortnight, which is about all you can ask for with the first ball being struck, you know, a matter of just over a couple of days away.
All right. Well, it's good to be back. And we will be back for more Roland Garros. Until next time, see you in the court.